Can the 49ers still win the Super Bowl? Good question. No Jimmy G. Now there's talk he could come back at the very end or something like that. But really, it's time to really consider the fact that even if he was able to technically come back and play, would he really be ready? And is that even relevant? Because you still have to get there. You still have to get to that NFC championship round, even if he was ready to come back and play football. But the real question is, can they get there? And I'm going to say the obvious answer is it depends. Now, it is way too soon and early to sit there and say Brock Purdy just as good as Jimmy G. I see people doing it ridiculous. And I'm not saying that he's not. He could be better. I'm saying there's no way to know because there's something called sample size, and that's relevant and that matters because we haven't been seeing enough game situations. Remember, Jimmy G has looked really great, like the best quarterback in football sometimes for a few weeks in a row, right? You know about a quarterback when they start to get tested in different situations. What happens when the defensive scheme of the other team is working? What happens when you fall behind and now you have to throw your way out of the situation? What happens when the scheme has to change based on a different situation? Can your quarterback do that? Can your quarterback get you back in a fourth quarter? Remember, when we get to the playoffs, these games are going to get harder and harder, and people have more and more time to prepare. It's not a knock against Brock Purdy. Not at all. It's just reality of he could be great. He could be this hidden gem we never knew we had, or he could turn out to be exposed as very average or below average quarterback because the sample size is not big enough. We don't know. So what does that mean? That means the 49ers are really going to have to rely on the things they know that they have. And what do they know they have? They know they have a great defense. The 49ers have a defense that will keep them in every single football game they play in. When their defense has a good day, they can beat anyone, regardless of their offense, as long as they don't make mistakes, because their defense is that good. But they have to play that good and have to be super consistent. So look, offensively, Debo being hurt, it's not a good thing. I mean, this is obvious. We know that. He's a tremendous weapon. But I don't think people understand what kind of weapon the 49ers acquired when they acquired CMC. Christian McCaffrey is special. Now, his only knock was health, but the bottom line is if he's on the field, he's special. It's amazing how fast the league forgets about players when they get hurt and we write them off and they have to work their way back to prove themselves. When he was in Carolina, he was Carolina. He was the entire offense. Last season, Carolina was 3-0, and McCaffrey was the best running back in the NFL. And then he got hurt. And then we all saw what happened to Carolina. That's how good McCaffrey is. He impacts everything. So the Niners are just learning how to utilize him. Because let's face it, they already had their scheme, their system, everything was set up. But now when you talk about injuries and Jimmy G being out and Tebow being out, now is when you start to push on other players. And this is where I think people are really going to realize that Christian McCaffrey is an offensive monk himself. As long as the offensive line blocks for him, he is magical. And this could be a new type of 49ers that play offense a different way, and it might be enough, particularly when you have a great defense, and particularly when you have a player as special as Christian McCaffrey. The question is, Brock Purdy, can he hold up? Can he keep managing games like this? Can he keep from falling into that trap of forcing the ball and making big plays for the other team by throwing it to them in pressure situations? That's what we have to find out. But the answer to the question is, why not? Why not? The 49ers are built on running and defense, and they still have that. So can the Niners win the Super Bowl this year? Yes, they can. Will it be easy? No, it won't. But believe, because it's possible. It's very possible.